You guys lost Chubb and Michelle, who were such a huge part of the offense last year. How confident are you in that the new guys plus the offense will be able to handle those defections?
I mean, losing those two guys, it's a big, tremendous effect because those two guys carry the ball a lot for us, and we kind of depend on them a lot. But we know the guys that we have now and the guys that's coming in, they're going to fill those spots pretty good.
Again, if you'll raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll go right down here in the middle of the right.
Terry, everybody's talking about next year's wide receiver class for Georgia with the two five-star guys, Demetrius and Jaden right now. What is this year's class, or what do you guys as a wide receiver group this year, what do you guys want to prove before you guys leave?
I mean, just the mindset in that room, we're trying to prove that we're the best receiving core out there in the nation, and we have the most talent in everything. We're the hard-working group. I mean, it's just that we're trying to put out there, there's no receiving core that's better than us.
So coming off such an outstanding year last year, probably one of Georgia's best seasons in a long time, what's the attitude going into this year?
Just not looking back on last season, just looking forward to the future and taking on our next game, trying to get better at what we didn't have last year, and just trying to proceed with these younger guys and instill in what they instilled in us earlier.
We'll go back row over here on the left.
Hey Terry, Cam Gaskins, WGXA in Macon. Just wanted to ask about your preparation to be a senior leader on this team. A lot was made last year out of the senior leadership and all the guys you had, so I wanted to know what you've learned from them or kind of what you've taken from them as you prepare to be a senior this year.
We learned from them that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be roads that's going to be bumpy, and we have to overcome them, have to have everybody bought in to what Coach Smart wants with the younger guys, and just instill in them what the leaders from last year instilled in us.
Front row on the right.
Terry, for you and your teammates, how often have y'all watched the last play from last year, or have you at all?
I mean, we watched it once or twice whenever we went back and watched film, but other than that, we don't dwell on the past. We try to look forward to the future.
We'll go back to the camera position right there on the right.
Just two quick questions for you. First of all, you mentioned that you don't want to talk about last year, but how much does last year's loss to Alabama sting, if so, if it does still, and if so, how is the team using that, for motivation entering this season?
I mean, for any true competitor, it's going to sting. It's going to hurt to lose that way. But we're not using that as any kind of fuel or anything like that. We're going into off-season workouts as if we're the underdog still. We're still the hunters and not the hunted.
We'll go on the back row right here in the middle.
Predictions are predictions for a reason, but what do you personally think when you hear Georgia is the odds-on favorite to play again in Atlanta?
Well, to be honest, we don't really listen to those type of things. We try to keep everything inside our facility as one and try to keep our mindset the same.
Yeah, you sort of had your breakout season last year. How do you keep that momentum going? And then do you think that this year is going to be Riley's year, Mikol's year? Who do you think is going to be the guy that draws headlines this year?
I mean, with everybody in that room, it can be any guy in that room because there's so much talent and so much effort that's been put out there in workouts and weight room, and we know whichever guy goes out there and have a great year, we're going to be happy for him regardless.
We'll go back row on the left.
Hey Terry, this time last year there was a lot of talk about Jacob. We've gone through 5 or 6 minutes here without talking about Jake Fromm at all, or even Justin. Mm-hmm. What do the quarterbacks bring to y'all as receivers and just for this team?
Just to have Fromm back, I mean, it's awesome because now he has a year under his belt. He knows what team's going to throw at him, what he needs to look for, and just having that coach out there. And with Fields, I mean, he's came in, he's done tremendous at practice, and he's showing us why he was the #1 player in the nation.
We'll go standing back here on the far left.
Hey, Terry, what is it with you and the one-handed catches? Because, I mean, we've seen him in the games, right? But apparently I've heard about you in practices, and, apparently you've been doing this for a really long time. When do you remember, were you at a young age, you remember making these incredible one-handed catches? And I guess everybody in here who maybe wants to play football in their rec league wants to know how you practice this, or is this just something that you that comes natural to you?
Well, it first started in high school, and it was just like a thing that I did, and I worked on it so much coming out of high school, and then I got to college, I started working on it even more, and that just kind of come natural. So, I mean, it's just a lot of practice going into it.
We'll go on the back row in the middle.
Terry, what were some early things that indicated that Kirby Smart was going to be a winner and that he was going to, kind of take you guys to the next level?
Just the mentality he brought in, that hard-nosed mentality, that hard work at practice mentality. he makes practice harder than the game. So whenever we get to the game, it's like it's easier than practice. So that's why we're out there. We're not fatigued as much. We're not breaking down things like that, and we're just going hard at practice. So once he brought all that in, we knew that this program was changing.
We'll go standing all the way here to the far right.
Terry, when you signed, did you envision that you guys could be in the position of a program that you are right now?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, anybody that signs anywhere, you always have that mentality coming in. We're going to win this championship. We're going to be a contender for it. And to actually be there and being a contender, I mean, it's a dream come true. Because for me, a Georgia native, I mean, that's everything that we want from Georgia, except to win it, actually. But, I mean, it's a dream come true.